be more of it.
I know, yeah.
Good afternoon. I'll call to order the meeting of the New Ulm Public Utilities Commission for the month of March. First item on the agenda is to review the minutes from our last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held February 26, 2019.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion to approve the minutes from our last regular meeting indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is to review the monthly utility operations report.
President Heine, Commissioners, I just have a couple comments on the Director's report for as of March 26th. In the electric distribution department, the electric system experienced 3 breaker operations this year, or this month. Those breaker operations were caused by 2 switch failures. In the water department, we repaired 1 water main break, repaired 1 water service break, and then the water department was helping street department hauling snow from the downtown area. Energy services, we signed the low-income program agreement for 2019, which is with the Minnesota Valley Action Council. This program agreement, or the contract, is the same as 2018. There was no changes to the 2019 contract. And I think I have one final. Recruitment efforts are still in process for finding part-time skilled workers for the summer season. So the application deadline is March 31st, so we're still looking for some seasonal summer help for the utility operations. Other than that, I don't have any other comments. If there's any questions.
Yeah, I just have one question, Chris. So I was looking at the financials, and we're down a bit from last year, but it seems like the bulk of it's in the electric fund. Do you know specifically from a sales standpoint why we're down so much?
Well,
Versus
typically
prior
that
year.
will happen because it's winter. You have more sales in the summer with electric, and so you'll see the opposite effect happen with electric and natural gas. Natural gas, you're seeing, if you were to look at the natural gas fund,
Yeah,
the majority of sales are coming from the now. Electric fund, you'll see the same thing.
Right. So what I'm actually looking at is the comparison to the previous year to date.
Oh, okay.
So our total sales from electric standpoint were 221,000 previous year to date, and this year they're 31,000.
That's not it. That's incorrect.
Okay.
That is incorrect.
Okay.
Yes. I think that probably is a number that, it's probably more like 231,
Okay.
369. So I'll go back and check that and
Okay.
make sure that gets corrected.
Okay,
But
'cause that's the
that
bulk of
should
our
be
difference.
more in line with the sales that were from last year.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep. Do the
Joe, do you have employee of the month?
Okay, our employee of the month, this month is Kim Samuelson. Kim is a clerical assistant 1 in the finance department who's been employed with the utilities since February of 2006. Kim consistently strives to do her best, and she is willing to drop everything to help anyone. During elections, she coordinates closely with the county to make sure that all the election rules are being followed and all the judges are trained properly. For 2018 elections, Kim rose to every challenge in front of her, despite a reduction in polling locations and new voting equipment. She worked tirelessly, running to all the polling places, answering questions, and making sure that all the election judges had the support and the supplies that they needed. Kim takes great pride in her work, and what she does for the city of New Ulm. So congratulations to Kim Samuelson.
Thank you, Kim. So, do we have a motion to approve and receive the utilities report for?
Yes. I'll offer the motion to receive and order filed the report regarding monthly utility operations.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion to approve and receive filed the monthly utilities report indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have a presentation by Mr. Persig.
Yeah, I think we got a, I'm looking to see if it got loaded, our prep PowerPoint for our reliability indices. Looks like it might have gotten missed. Is it attached to your minutes or not?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, if you indulge me, maybe we can just go through it old school way. Sorry about this. But every year we do this in March. Basically, the second slide you'll see is the statute that requires investor-owns to do this. We're technically not required to do this. We just do this as a standard to measure ourselves with, to let us know how we're doing when compared to other utilities. Third slide is how these numbers are derived. You'll see the SAFE, system average interruption frequency, is the total number of interruptions divided by the total number of customers. The SAIDI, or System Average Interruption Duration Index, is the length of those durations divided by the number of customers. And the last one is CAIDI, is the Customer Average Interruption Duration, which is the sum of the interruption durations divided by the total number of interruptions. So with the SAFE, last year we had a very good year of 0.03. We'll be lucky to see that again. You can see our 4-year history, and now we have the eRelia tracker, which compares us to a lot of other municipal utilities in the 5-state area. And again, you look at, we're doing significantly better than the average for our area. And then you can see the IOUs there. On the next slide, you see that in the graphic representation. Now the SAIDI, again, we had a very, very good year. Our second best year, or our best year in the last 5 years. And you look at the eRelia tracker, again, we're doing significantly better than our colleagues. And we're doing significantly better than the IOUs again. You see it graphically, where nobody's even close right now to what we have. Our CAIDI, we had a CAIDI last year of 104, which is actually a little bit higher, which this, when you think about this, when you remember how this is derived, it's the number of interruption durations divided by the number of interruptions. So the few that we did have were a little longer or had an impact on more customers. And you'll see that again in a couple slides. But still, we're doing very well when compared to a lot of others. And there you can see it graphically again. We're at least holding our own. And remember, the IOU information is a year older than ours, because it takes them a year to develop all the numbers and send it in. All their numbers are 17 if you look at it. Our numbers are all 18. So then we're going to system reliability, developing our reliability data. First thing obviously is we restore the power. Then we examine what happened either through SCADA or using the GIS or operator knowledge. Again, why do we fluctuate so much and so wildly? Like you see a couple years past, we've had, well, we go from 0.03 to 0.87. That's a pretty big difference. Well, we've only have 3 substations with a total of 4 transformers compared to Minnesota Power, which has 16 cities. Excel, well, and then the number of customers we have is about 7,250. Excel has 1.5 in just Minnesota million, and Otter Tail Power has 130,000 and 164 substation. So if something happens for them, they can average it out over a much bigger footprint than we can do that. Another way to look at it is the size of the service area. New Ulm is only about 18, almost 19 square miles. Minnesota Power is 26,000 square miles. Excel Energy is 108,000 square miles. That's just for the Minnesota area. And Otter Tail Power is 70,000 square miles. So if one storm hits us head on, it can cause a lot of damage. And now here, the first one, you can see why Arcady kind of jumped. We had one outage, which took out 4 different feeders, which affected 1,135 customers. It was pretty short, but when you're affecting 1/7 of all your customers, it's got a pretty big impact right there. The second biggest one affected 118 customers, and that was for 70 minutes. So that was a pretty long one also. And then the next one was 83 customers for 172 minutes. And a lot of this is equipment-related outages due to licensing, and some of the ones like 2018 equipment outage on Franklin, 210 South Franklin. The year before, they had a lightning arrestor go out in a lightning strike, so that transformer was probably damaged due to lightning a year before. And that was only 10 customers impacted for 20 minutes. And then keys to reliability, again, are maintenance, cable replacement, tree trimming, testing our poles, and testing of our breakers and switches, which we're doing right now. Again. And then 2018 reliability projects on the next on slide 16 is we did a conversion on GIS to Esri, which is now done. We started using the ReliaTracker software, which I just pointed out to you. That's all been done. We reviewed and are still reviewing transmission options for the woodpecker damaged poles. We updated our 20-year study, and South Broadway, Cottonwood Street area overhead to underground conversion is now done. This year we've got just a few of the projects that we're actually working on listed on the next slide. First thing we're working on doing is replacing 8 potential transformers, and that 2 of them have started to leak, and we'll be purchasing 2 spares, and you'll see that in a later action item today, as a matter of fact. Evaluation and potentially replacing 3 breakers on the north side substation for operation issues as we work to change our normally fed power to the north side. We want those breakers to be reliable and not have any issues if we go ahead and do that. We may have to replace some of the relays in the north side substation to replace some old, outdated electromechanical relays to the new Schweitzer relays that have a lot more functionality and are much more the current industry standard. And then we'll be doing a full coordination study to make sure if we have a line failure for our transmission line, we don't have to lose the whole city. We can segment and hopefully keep as many people online as possible. Changing our power delivery point to 23rd North is another one that we're looking at due to the woodpecker issues with our normal fed line. This line is obviously all steel structures, so has nominal damage done to other elements. And then we're still reviewing transmission pole woodpecker damage and developing corrective action plan. Planning and design, again, 20-year system plans for reliability, built-in redundancy, ability to back up supply, and underground components. Keys to reliability, again, would be knowledgeable operators, recognize the system problems quickly and take appropriate steps for restoration, and our own internal generation capacity of about 71 megawatts of power. Conclusions, again, this year, New Ulm was very reliable. The system compares favorably to a lot of both our competitors and our colleagues. We do adequate maintenance if you have these kind of numbers. System planning and design, we're very redundant, and we're still working towards underground components, but right now we're more looking at transmission. And knowledgeable technicians and our generation is both important components to this. Any questions?
Doesn't seem like it.
I'll offer the motion to receive and file the report regarding the City of New Ulm's electrical system reliability standards and performance for 2018.
Second.
Any discussion of that motion? All in favor of the motion to accept the report indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. And I think the next item on the agenda is yours as well, the potential transformer replacement project.
Yeah, as we just talked about in the reliability list of projects we're working on, we have started having some issues with some PTs out there. 2 of them have started leaking. One's bad enough we're doing a emergency repair, and it's just been delivered now to get number 7 back in the market as we want it. And we are all the existing PTs are on average 40 years old, so they're beyond or at their design life. So rather than having a multitude of different makes and models, we've elected, since other projects have been put on hold, to go through and replace them all. So we only have to have one model sitting on the shelf for our backup, rather than having to carry several on the shelf. So this action item is to replace the 7 that we have left. One was replaced in 2014 already that started leaking, and now we have this one we're replacing as an emergency repair. We'll replace the other 7 and put 2 on the shelf at the MDC. We went out and got 2 quotes, and a third company didn't respond. L&S, who we currently work with on some other issues, was the low quote at $78,839. That's the purchase of 9 PTs. Again, installation of 7 of them for that total cost. If there's any questions?
Move to authorize the city manager to sign the proposal for the purchase of 9 potential transformers and the installation of 7 PTs for the in the amount of $78,839 from L&S Electric, Inc.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion to authorize the city manager to sign the proposal for the potential transformers indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You're still there. That's okay. So the next item on the agenda is to consider another proposal for engineering support.
Yeah, this is a power plant project. This proposal is for the number 4 boiler control upgrades. We had budgeted for the actual control upgrades, but after seeing what some of the vendors are proposing and talking about, we have decided we probably should have a professional come in and help us develop a scope of services so we can have everybody will be bidding apples to apples, very competitive bid, and developing exactly what New Ulm wants out of their new boiler controls and the functionality that we have. So in the primary issues, we have listed out exactly what phase 1 and phase 2 will look like for this. You know, this includes developing the RFP, going through the bidding process, potentially helping us find other vendors to bid the project so we get enough bids, because it's getting harder and harder to find somebody to work on these old controls and find the equipment to do these updates. So total for both phase 1 and 2 with travel and expenses is $33,600 from IEM Energy Consultants. Any questions?
So this was or was not a budgeted cost?
The project was budgeted. The engineering services, we were going to try to do it all in-house, but when we started looking at all the vendors, it was decided we probably should get somebody that works on these all the time in here looking at it.
So do we still think we're going to spend the $200,000 that's in the budget for the actual work, and then another 33 for the engineering? Is that what we're saying?
We have one quote in already, and I haven't looked at it in quite some time. That was $189, I want to say. So
Okay.
potentially it'll be close, but we don't have the bids in yet, so, you know. It's all in who we can get to bid it.
I'll authorize the city manager to sign the proposal for engineering support for the boiler number 4 control upgrades with IEM Energy Consultants in the amount of $33,600 for both phase 1 and 2.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion?
My question was, the boiler is like, and I can't get my notes up here, was like 55 years old or something, if I remember right?
Yeah, that boiler was built in 1965.
Okay. So with all these new controls, when the boiler needs to be replaced, can all those controls be converted over to it?
Probably not, but currently, we have capacity contracts that are tied to our generation, which this boiler is a component of, that go out till 2030. So there's 11 or 12 years that this will be probably in service.
How long does a boiler like that usually last?
Well, our oldest boiler in our fleet of boilers was built in 1941, so
Oh, okay,
be 80, 79 years old.
okay.
That's how well you take care of them.
Yes. Again, it's a maintenance thing. How well you take care of it is how long it'll last.
Okay.
Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion to authorize the city manager to sign the proposal for engineering support for boiler number 4 control upgrades with IEM Energy Consultants in the amount of $33,600 for both phases 1 and 2, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next is to consider a cost of service and rate study for water and wastewater departments.
Yes, the New Ulm Public Utilities, we haven't done a water or wastewater study since 2011, and we believe it's important to periodically review the rates. We want to ensure that the customers are being equitably charged and that the costs are being split out based on their contribution to the total cost of our service. And so we're asking to go out to create an RFP and go out and get proposals. We're looking at, in the past, we've done water and wastewater together. We're asking to do it separately because we think some firms may have more expertise in one over the other, so we'd like to be able to, it may be the same firm that gets it, but we'd like to at least go out and get proposals separately. There is a line item in both water and wastewater in the budget for this project. So we're just asking permission to go out for a request for proposal.
Do you know what we budgeted or what that usually costs?
I believe of $50,000 in each.
I'll offer the motion considering authorizing staff to direct preparation of a request for proposal for a cost of service and rate study for the water and wastewater utilities.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor of the motion to authorize a request for proposal for the cost of service and rate studies indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we are being asked to consider treating gas department property as surplus property. No pictures, though.
A list, I think. These are meters that are no longer functioning and they're obsolete. Some of these meters were, during the cold weather, froze, and they were replaced, so we would not put those back into service. Other meters have a 30-year life, or have been out with a 30-year life, so they've been through a 3-year process of testing. So it's time to take those out of service and replace them.
Okay. I'll offer the motion to declare gas department gas meters as surplus property and authorize disposition pursuant to the requirements of the city code and charter.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion to declare gas meters surplus property indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we need to evaluate the list of claims paid and claims to be paid.
I'll offer the motion to accept the list of claims paid in the amount of $3,179,675.85 and approve the list of claims to be paid in the amount of $358,249.88.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that motion? All in favor of accepting the list of claims paid and approving the list of claims to be paid, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Finally, we need to consider a motion to go into closed session to discuss possible litigation. I think what we do is entertain a motion to go into closed session, and then if the motion passes, I'll read the appropriate.
Okay,
Notice.
move to proceed in the closed session to discuss possible litigation related to gas volumes transported on the Fairfax gas pipeline.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor of going into closed session to discuss litigation regarding the Fairfax gas pipeline, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, the New Ulm Public Utilities Commission will now convene a closed session in accordance with Minnesota Statutes 13D.05 Subdivision 3B to discuss possible litigation related to gas volumes transported on the Fairfax gas pipeline. And we need to clear the room.